In its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, hey everybody, live from Harlem in New York, it's the Ramble with Alex Bennett. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Lori Thompson. Yeah. And her picture may stutter a little bit now and then because we're having some kind of slight problems with her neighborhood today.
You know, it's a good neighborhood, but it's mischievous.
Yeah, but as long as we can hear your lovely voice, that's all that matters.
Oh, good.
So how's your health doing? How's it?
Well, the things that you worry about usually don't happen, and then the things that you don't even consider. There's a throat cough thing that I didn't anticipate, and it's the cough is like one of those immobilizing ones that makes you bend over, and so that has kept my throat pretty raw. Yeah. But I have a PET scan next week, and we'll find out if that's a condition to be concerned about. Or, I mean, it's very painful, but a condition to be concerned.
Well, you were operated on your throat.
Yeah, the radiation.
Yeah, and then first they removed it, right?
No, they did not. They just used the radiation.
And did the bump go down?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
all they care about now is to make sure it didn't spread.
Yeah, because it was so close to the voice box. It was close to the lymphatic system. That's why we got on.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah.
But the other thing too
damn those lymph nodes.
Damn them! They're like the internet.
Well, I keep waiting. Mine don't swell up, but they always check them every 6 months. They check there, right along here. They just very lightly touch it too, and then they take. Boy, they draw 6 vats of blood out of me.
Yeah. Well, I had a PICC line. It was like, anytime, anywhere, you could take blood, and they just screw it into your PICC line.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I had a kidney stone, and I went to the hospital, and they put me in the hospital for like 4 days.
Really?
Yes.
That's been a big one.
They wouldn't let me leave till the stone passed.
That can take a while.
So they put me on a drip of saline to put a lot of liquid in my body to help create the urine to let it flow down. And eventually, I think on about the 3rd day or 4th day, I went to the bathroom and it hurt and a lot of blood came out. And I went running off to the doctor and said, I got blood in my urine. And you probably just passed the stone. Go back, lie in bed. We'll see you in a bit.
Yeah.
But what happened is they put that line in you. I called it my USB port, and they stick it in there, tape it in, and all of that, and then it's always there. And if they want to add something like you need some pain medication, they just would simply go into the line and give it to you.
It's very efficient. Very efficient.
I wish I had one of those constantly.
No, I do too.
Hey, I want to get high.
Yeah, I do too, because there are probably things that you're chronically low on. With me, it's magnesium and calcium and sodium. So yeah, it'd be neat just to have those.
Yeah, and then I go out and I get blood tested every 6 months. Almost every blood test you can imagine.
The whole panel.
I went to my doctor and I said, here, I had them send you my blood tests, so you don't have to do them this time. And he checked, and he said, well, the two that we didn't do, and he did check for diabetes, and he checked for something else. And I was okay. I was a little off the grid on one, but, hemoglobin is a little off. That's it.
It's interesting the things they can find out from a blood test.
Well, the fact
you ran a stop sign. I can see it in your blood test.
Well, the fact is, all these things like hemoglobin and so on are going to be affected by the leukemia that I have. yes, folks, I have leukemia, but don't worry about it, okay?
Yeah,
It's
don't
called
fret.
it's called what's called CLL, and as you get older, you sometimes get this. And it's, as the doctor put it, it's you're not going to die from it, you're going to die with it.
Yeah, very.
know.
So there are a
Yeah.
lot of things that we're going to die with.
Yeah. So,
And well, that's people ask me what stage the cancer was, and it was stage 4 because it's always stage 4. And I was like, ugh.
what do you
But
mean?
it's not
What
like,
do you mean? It's always stage 4.
well, because of its proximity to the lymph system, the throat.
So is 4 a designation they give to you, not because of its severity, but because of where it is?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the way I understood it. Because it was like stage 4. It's not like stage 4 liver cancer or stage 4 colon cancer. It was just this. I guess it was the urgency of treatment too, because of where it is.
Yeah. Because I
want-
always thought they went stage 4 when you were, you had
Me
the
too.
worst kind.
I know.
Yeah.
I perked right up when they said that. It was like, no. This is a little different. So
Yeah.
then I was relieved.
Well, I look at my ex-wife Ronnie. She had pancreatic cancer, and
brutal.
I actually operated on her.
Huh?
Yeah. There is if you have a certain kind, there's an operation they can do. It's called, I can't remember. There's a name for it now, but they go and they gut you. They just gut you.
Really?
And it took her a while to get over the operation, but she lasted another 3 or 4 years before before she started getting terminal, and she decided to kill herself. So she lived in Oregon, and you can get a doctor to recommend the. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that, but I don't know if I were in that much pain. Maybe I could.
Yeah, I think if I was in that much pain, I could. But that is interesting that some people choose that route and other people it's anathema. I think Catholics swear, they veer away from that.
Well, but you're not supposed to commit suicide in the Jewish religion either.
Oh, really? Yeah, you can't be buried in a. No, it's
you have to die of natural causes or whatever natural cause there is.
Yeah.
You can't bring it on you. But I don't know what I could do if I could do that. But Ronnie did it, and I got a call from a friend of hers who said Ronnie's passed. She took the pills, and she decided to go.
Yeah, it would be. I think it would be the month before I made the decision. And then it was locked, and my thoughts I think would probably drive me mad because there's so much indecision, so much unknown. I mean, we think we know little about death now, but
I brought this up to Marjorie, and she kind of gave me bad vibes when I asked it. By the way, you're pretty smooth now. The picture. Anyway, I said to her, "We're going to a dentist, right?" And the other day, I had just this anguishing visit to the dentist. I mean, but it was all the things that were annoying me about the other people that worked with her that couldn't work fast enough. Like when she said, "Okay, we're going to take an X-ray of this," and then she put something in my mouth so I couldn't close my mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
So then these people are like futzing around with the equipment. Well, how does this work? Do we push this button here? Yeah, you push it. Like it's earn while you learn, not from the dentist, but from her assistants. And I'm sitting there with my mouth full of hardware going, okay. Then can you do that? And it was anguishing. It was the worst hour and a half I ever spent in a dentist chair, and it had nothing to do with pain. It had to do with the process.
Yeah, and the frustration of the.
And I said to her, this was really agonizing for me. She says, "For you, so how about me?" And I went, "Well, you're the dentist. You're going to get the $2,000 for this, but but she." Then I said to Marjorie, how do we know she's a good dentist?
Right.
No. I mean, the fact that she can stop a toothache with a root canal, that's fine. But how do we know she knows how to do a good root canal?
We don't.
We don't know. We don't know anything. Any dentist you go to, folks, have you ever looked it up to see whether they're very good at root canals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just assume they know what they're doing because they're doing something you don't know how to do.
This is true. This is very
And
true.
I feel the same thing is true of doctors. You know,
It
I
is.
said to you, I would be happier if you maybe had been here in New York and gotten whatever, what do you call it, decision that they would make up here as opposed to what they would make in the panhandle of Florida.
Yeah, I wondered about that, and I didn't. You go through a lot of examinations of different conditions, different approaches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, first of all, it's like, how much time do you want to spend on this? You're going to disrupt your life, which we did. We pretty much upended our life for the 5 months that it took to go through the treatment.
And by the way, may I do a tribute to your husband who saw you through this brilliantly. It was wonderful of him. Yeah.
He was amazing.
You can hear me, Rick. You did a great job.
Yeah, he'll be happy to hear that because it's nice to have it confirmed, even though I tell him all the time. Yeah, I don't know. There are some people who don't have a spouse, not a loving one anyway,
Yeah.
and they drive themselves to radiation. They drive themselves to chemo.
Oh God, yes.
They drive home and then they work and they still work full time.
You know what Marjorie and I have said to each other many times is we're very lucky at this age to have somebody.
Oh yeah.
She's got all these girlfriends whose husbands have died. They're kind of like a widow's club, and they don't have anybody.
I know, and it's frightening.
You know, maybe they have children and whatever, you know, but they don't really have anybody.
Yeah,
And we do.
Mm-hmm. And no, it's believe me, it is very palpably on my mind all the time because you'll see people in the waiting room and they just look so lonely by themselves. I mean, they come in by themselves and maybe they're just taking in stride. And I don't mean to be condescending. I just thought, oh, they don't have anybody to bring them.
Yeah, exactly.
And drop them off at the
we
door.
feel very fortunate that we have each other.
Oh, same here. Yeah. And we didn't even meet until I was in my late 50s, late.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, but you still, in that period of time, have time to find somebody. You know?
Yeah. But it was totally unplanned. It was totally, and I wasn't crazy about the idea at first. I thought, oh, he's somebody fun to hang out with while I examine the work situations that I might want in other areas of the country.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have a guy who calls our show. His name is Charlie, and he's like 70. He's like 74, I think.
Uh-huh.
And he hasn't had a girlfriend in years. And he figured at his age he's not going to ever have one, you know, because it's harder. It gets harder and harder to find people who want to alta caca, as the Jews call them. And he found this girl. He spends all the time over at her place and everything. I'm so happy for him. You know, it's great at that age to find somebody.
It's wonderful because the appeals are so different. The things you value in a spouse or a person, main person, at that age are so different than the ones in...
Well, you don't, at my age and at Marjorie's age, I mean, it's not like you used to marry for sex.
Yeah.
You don't marry for sex when you get older.
Oh, no.
You marry somebody you feel you can tolerate.
Yeah, and enjoy hanging with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I roll over in bed and look at her at night, I go, okay, you know, I can tolerate her.
Yeah.
I mean, she's getting to look like my mother now, but, you know, it's like, you know.
Like we all will.
But I look at myself, you know what I do here on, what do you call it, Zoom. You can make your face look better.
How?
Oh, you know, it's simply a thing under video. If you look under video, it says adjust background and effects. Okay. And under that, there, at the very top of that, it says video and touch up my appearance.
Ooh, that's nice.
So I touch up my appearance. Now watch what happens when I don't touch up my appearance.
Okay.
It's ugly. Look at that.
Did you just do it? I didn't notice that much.
Oh, look. Well, watch. I'm going to make it get better again. Okay. Here we go. See?
A little maybe, but
it touches it up a great deal. Here, I'll just turn it on and off. Boom, 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 See?
Oh, okay, yeah.
See the
I
difference?
see what you're saying. Yeah,
So
it's
when I look at myself touched up, I go, not bad for my age.
not bad at
But
all.
then
I'm
when
a
I turn it off, I go, what is that? Dorian Gray's painting?
And but speaking of which, did you watch Succession at all?
Succession. Yeah, I
Uh,
watch it. Yeah, yeah,
the chick, Sarah Schnook, the woman that played
yeah,
Shiv,
yeah.
is now doing Dorian Gray on Broadway.
Right.
Yeah, and she plays through videotape a lot of different characters. I really like to see it. I wish sometimes that they would have like Broadway flights, knowing you're just going to go in for a
Yeah.
night, see a
Yep.
play, and it's going to be a cheap Broadway flight. United,
What,
where are
I'll tell you what I've often felt about Broadway, what I find so significant about it. I mean, the tickets, the prices are insane.
unless you go to Stubbs or what is it?
Well, no,
Tickets.
but if you want to go to see Sarah Schnook and get a decent ticket tomorrow or the next day at a decent seat, it costs you $400.
It will. Yes, it will.
Tickets at Hamilton went up to $1,000 a seat.
Yeah. Now, I had a chance to see Hamilton in San Francisco, the road company, but I didn't go. I just thought.
Yeah, it was so old by then. The show was called Roosevelt, so
Yeah.
it was, But hey, what I felt when I've gone to a show and I go, oh boy, these tickets are really expensive. Better be good. So if the show is good, and you sit there watching it, the orchestra is there. There's a whole orchestra. There are all the sets. There are the sets being flown in and out, and you think about what they have to do live, and you go, worth every penny.
Yeah.
Worth every penny.
Especially a good show and just like the trucks, the costumes, everything.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's
everything that they have to do, changing costumes, changing the sets, the orchestra playing, on and on, and the lighting, and you go, wow, it's like this whole machine goes to work at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, my son-in-law, I have a son-in-law now. Never thought I'd have one.
You have a son-in-law.
I have a son-in-law, and he still no grandbaby though, much to my chagrin.
Oh, really? You're like my mother. I'll never be a grandmother. Well.
Oh, I know. And when I found out Rick had, a grown daughter, I thought, here's why, because I thought I'd be a really crummy parent. I'm too impetuous. I'm too impatient, or was then, and but I think I'd be a wonderful grandparent.
But to begin with, grandparents have all told me it's the best when you're a grandparent. Here's why. Because you go over to the house. You maybe have to babysit the kid, or you have to you play with the kid, and it's your granddaughter, your grandson. And you pop them up and down on your knee, and you kiss him and hug him, and you love him. And then it's time to go, and you don't have to take the kid with you.
Yeah, right. Yes.
That you can get all the advantages that you thought you would have in having a child, you really have with your grandchild.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I think there's probably merit to it.
Well, how many children does Rick have?
One daughter, and she's almost 40. So I think my grandparent hopes and dreams are going up kind of in a puff.
Oh, okay. Well,
But my son-in-law, he plays in Broadway orchestras, which is kind of cool.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
okay,
He
cool.
also tunes pianos, and he's tuned like Billy Joel and all those Long Island rock stars.
Yeah,
so it's kind of fun.
He plays the piano, is it?
No, he refurbishes and tunes pianos, but he plays like 8 instruments.
Oh, okay.
He's a utility guy, but
My father was what we call a journeyman musician. He was a violinist, and one night he'd be playing at the Curran Theater doing a Broadway show, and the next night he'd be up at the Mark Hopkins or the Fairmont Hotel playing with Ernie Heckscher's orchestra.
Yeah.
And then the next night he might be playing with the symphony.
Yeah, that's it. Rick just corrected me. He plays 17 instruments.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's good to have on your Rolodex.
He's never out of work.
Right. Right.
But my father was a journeyman musician. I mean, that's
violin, right?
Yeah, that's how I was raised. He didn't, it wasn't like he did music when he could do it. when he could no longer do it, when they weren't hiring violins as much because they just wanted to use combos,
Oh,
you know, and or bands which don't have strings in them. He then went into selling real estate in his later years, and in his very later years, well, he only lived to be 59, but he was a business manager for the Musicians Union.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and that was the job, he said, of all the jobs he ever had, the one he loved the most.
Yeah, because he would be empathetic and qualified and knew.
Well, what happened was, because he was the new punk that came in as a contractor, a business manager for the union, he had to. They would assign you certain venues for you to take care of.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right, and because he was a punk, they didn't want anything to do with these guys. They gave him all the music venues in San Francisco, like the Matrix and the Avalon Ballroom and blah, 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 all the rock places.
Sweet.
And when my father died, my mother got a letter from Steve Miller. You remember Steve Miller?
Steve Miller Band, sure.
Yeah, and he said,
Abracadabra.
I want to thank your husband because if it weren't for him, I would have never gotten as far as I did. And what my father had done is he saw this kid, his name was Steve Miller. He wanted to join the union, but in those days, if you wanted to join the union, you had to know how to read music.
Right.
Because that was one of the skills. You know, all a union did was guarantee that if you hired the guy, he could do the job. And they felt that reading music was part of it. Well, Steve couldn't read music. Okay? But my father said, I want you guys to hear this guy. He said, I want you to hear him play the guitar. He doesn't read music, but if you don't think he should be a member of this union, you know, you're nuts, okay? And he had them set up a thing where Steve Miller just played, without reading music, guitar. And they said he's great, and they made him a member of the union.
Wow, and how very, very, what's the word I want to use? Kind and foresightful that your dad would see that and take an interest, and look how much it meant to Miller. I mean, he wrote years later when he'd had like a gazillion hits. That's cool.
Yeah, but he wrote my mother a letter to the effect of, your husband made it possible for me to have a career.
That's so sweet. I love that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a tribute to my father, too. I mean, he was a great man. I loved him. You know, he only lived to be 59. My mother lived to be over 100. And I'm going, you know, I really wish it had been the other way around. I don't know if that's a horrible thing to say. I went to a shrink once because I was breaking up with my girlfriend. You remember my girlfriend? I was always breaking up with her. So I finally decided to go to a shrink because I couldn't handle this any longer. And I go to the shrink. I go to the shrink. And I'm talking to him and giving him whatever, and he's saying, so what do you want to talk about? I said, well, I really would like to talk about my mother. He said, what's the problem with your mother? I said, well, I don't like her that much. And he looked at me and said, nobody says you have to. Now, how's the girlfriend doing? And that's when I decided that was the last visit, okay? Because I actually came to him with an issue, okay, that might be a key to how disgusting a human being I was.
And everything. Well, at least you didn't like her, but at least you didn't call her the C word. That would be kind of out there.
Oh, she wasn't that. No. She was just, you know, she was just so cloying. You know, I have claustrophobia. Can't put me in an MRI machine. Forget it.
Yeah, you have emotional claustrophobia too, you think?
No, I have claustrophobia. I can't stand to be, right?
Yeah.
And because my mother was so cloying, every woman who's ever known me has wondered why I couldn't take a hug well.
Oh. Because
it's claustrophobic to me.
Sure.
You know, Marjorie's gotten used to it, and, you know, but that's part. My claustrophobia is 100%. You know, because of my mother. Yeah. Because of my mother.
Well, and moms, you know, first of all, they work long hours.
By the way, sorry, Mom. What? Anyway, what?
Well, we have a whole body of work, and it stretches our entire life. So even though there are wonderful times, I mean, if there are bad times, and there almost always are with a parent,
Yeah.
then those are the ones that hurt and you seize. I think memories
Yeah.
are often more about pain than they are about
Yeah.
wonder and glory and
Now, my
joy.
father, on the other hand, I just adored my father.
Yeah,
I
I
just,
knew you did.
I mean, I punched him at one time. You know, I got into a fight once. I went crazy.
How old were you?
I was 17, I think. You
Oh,
know,
that's
and I
okay.
just, for some reason, you know, and that was the only time I ever had any kind of a problem with my father. And he was just a great father. He was a great human being. And I also, you know, in those days, oh, we're running out of time, I see here. We just ran out of time. Well, we'll keep going. Anyway, screw it.
Oh.
Just say this about my dad, that he was just a great person, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And he passed along a lot of, you know, good advice to me about life and about things like that. I loved him dearly. I mean, to this day, when have some kind of a problem or something he said probably it resonates with me.
That's
Yeah.
great, man. And part of you can consider, if someone that you hold in such esteem loved your mother, there must be some good things in her that we're just not saying.
Well, I did wonder why he found her to be a good idea. You know, because
So funny. That's the most unromantic.
also my father was very smart, very smart, and she really wasn't.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
Not about the same. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Because everybody has a native intelligence
Yeah.
about something I don't know. So
Yeah.
I try to find out what that is.
right,
So
and learn from it. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Hey, listen, we've run out of time. Damn it!
damn it, Jim.
This is so good. I'm so happy you're back. I can't
Oh,
tell
me
you.
too. I mean, and like I say, I missed you, but I had your text to make me feel like, okay, this is not going to go on forever. This cancer.
Well, it was the least I could do.
Oh, it made.
You know, I didn't know whether I was pestering you or whether, you know.
Oh no, it meant a whole lot to me.
Anyway, we love you, dear, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.
See you later.
See
Bye.
ya, Flip.
Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Well, I'm so happy we've got her back. Oh, boy. You know, it's wonderful to hear from Lori. And I just hope she continues to be on the mend and everything is going to be just fine and wonderful. And I think she's fine and wonderful. So anyway, that's the way I feel about her, and I'm sticking to it. Okay? All righty. Well, we got two people waiting here to be on our panel. Let's see who we got here. Let me see. Admit all. And here we go. There we go. There's Charlie Wallace, and there's Josh Wheeler's coming on. And that's our panel for tonight, folks. Thank you very much. Anyway, Charlie's connecting his audio. Okay. Hello, Josh. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. You know, I just, I'm just trying to survive as best I can. And I can't complain. I just can't complain, you know. I just wish I were always feeling a little more peppy and zippy, but, you know, I'm not. So what the hell? I'll just survive. Hello, Charlie.
Hey, Alex.
Let's see. Never trust an atom. They make up everything. Okay. Thank you very much, Charlie. Oh, that's terrific. You know? Anyway, so here we are on a Wednesday, and we have, I guess, there's a lot of news going on, you know, that we don't really care about. Our president is visiting, he's visiting some business partners, and he's talking deals with them, none of which are going to affect us. Okay? but they are going to do a lot of good for the Trump organization. It's kind of a method they say was invented by Hunter Biden. So, remember when they accused Biden of all of that?
Yeah.
And now it's okay for the fact that the two Trump brothers are running around the Mideast after their father's been there making deals with people?
Yeah, it was bad when Hunter did it, but it's fine when the Trump boys do.
And we question whether Hunter ever did do it, at least not to that extent. So anyway, there is, of course, there is the big scandal, which is, of course, the jet that Trump is going to be. He's going to be taking it. He says that it's terrible when we have to pull into a country with Air Force One, which is a 40-year-old plane. Now, I don't know, is he correct on that?
Oh, well, they might have been manufactured. I think it's a little less than 40 years, but they were delivered during the first Bush administration. But I mean, that's not to act like they haven't had significant makeovers
Yeah.
over the years. I mean, the technology changes, because they're custom built planes anyway. They're not standard 747s. They're the B200. I mean, it even says in the nameplate, custom. And so it's built on the 747 template.
Right.
But it's not that. They get different engines. They get, I mean, everything, right? Different fuel tanks. It has so many extra things and all that. So it's not as if just because the shell of that plane was manufactured 40 years ago, like we said, actually it's a little less, that it hasn't been redone. I mean, that, if we tear out all the drywall in my house all the way to the sticks, and then we put everything back together inside and out new, I mean, yeah, I suppose technically you could go around and say my house is 19 years old. It was built in 2006, right? And you would be correct. But that doesn't really tell the story. So uh, I don't even care if any of that's true. New ones are ordered and they're on their way, and even if they weren't, it does. That's what we have. That's what's been good. That's my point. Is that's what's been good enough for everybody else.
Yeah.
And it's it to begin with, the plane is tricked out with all the stuff they need for the president. All the security. I think they even have missiles on that plane, although you don't see them.
No one knows. I mean,
Yeah. But it also is able to fight against pulses, electronic pulses, to turn everything off and stuff like that. It's a very tricked out plane to make sure that the President of the United States and whoever's on the plane is in relative safety. However, it doesn't seem our president is very proud of our plane. And
Not enough gold in it.
What?
Not enough gold in our airport.
Yeah, right.
So he says he's going to take it and put it in the presidential library when he's done with this new jet.
No, he didn't say that exactly. It would be owned by the presidential library. That doesn't mean he wouldn't be using it all the time.
Oh, so I've never seen another president take Air Force One with him when he retires.
Nope.
But this you got to remember. You know what Air Force One is? It's any plane the president happens to be flying in.
Yes.
You could take him up in a Piper Cub, and that would be Air Force One, at least while he's in it. It's simply a designation that's given to a plane, so it's a call sign.
I wonder what would happen if the pilot and co-pilot of the 747 that he's in, that's Air Force One, decided they didn't like him and they took parachutes and jumped and said, "You fly the plane, Mr. President. Have a nice life."
I don't think that would ever happen.
I don't think it would ever happen either, but if it was going to happen, this would be the perfect time, right?
Yeah, right. Anyway, so it doesn't seem like he's very proud of our Air Force One. Quite frankly, if it were my plane to use, I'd be very happy with it.
Absolutely.
You know.
Well, no, I mean well, that's what bothers me, more than almost anything is that his problem with it is that, and, it was last time as well, is that it's not good enough for him. It's not up to his high standards. And I mean, look, I'm just being honest here. That's true, and we know it. But I don't. I find that shameful. In my opinion. Because it's been good enough for everybody else. Greater men than him have walked that plane on many occasions.
Well,
And I mean, it has done America's business for quite some time, and he forgets, and apparently the Republican Party forgets, and other people. That plane was never designed for. It's not a luxury plane. Okay, it's a working plane. It was designed so that the president and his staff, who have a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week job, could perform the duties of those jobs even when they traveled. That includes the chiefs of staffs, the deputy chiefs of staffs, the press secretaries, all the people that work around him could have to travel places and could still be able to do their work because the work that they do is so demanding that it doesn't afford break time, So it's a working functional part of the government. It's not meant for his personal or anyone else's personal comfort. Now it comes with some great personal comfort things, a nice office and a bed and a bunch of other things, but those are nice perks, but that's not what it was intended for, and that's not what it.
What it's if I'm not wrong, what it was intended to be was kind of a flying Oval Office.
Yeah.
In other words, you can do all the business of the government, and you're not that far away from doing the business of the government just because you're up in the air. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean it has, as far as everyone knows, secure video and phone uplink to everyone in the world nowadays, and all that kind of stuff, so that if anything happens, no matter when or where they are in the plane, that the president's reachable. So
Also, there is room for the press.
Yeah, it has a press cabin, right?
Yeah, which this new plane doesn't have.
It's bigger. How could it not have room?
Well,
I don't know if
it has room, but it doesn't have I'm sure it has room because it holds people, but
Yeah.
the Air Force One that they use now, it isn't just seats for the press. It has a press office that operates. It allows them to upload their. I mean, they have internet access. They can upload their story. They get wire report. It has the same sort of functionality as the press office in the White House.
Yep.
Because it is a flying White House. So that's it has a press cabin.
Right. But all the things
that large enough to hold many people.
But I believe that the things that they are currently using it for, it's not the same thing. It's not the one he wants, because they're going to give it to him, and it's going to be his.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea that he doesn't like our plane.
Well, I really don't like that either at all. Period.
Yeah. I mean, did you say there's a new one on order, new Air Force One on order?
Yeah, they're the new ones that were already on order that he bitched and moaned about the entire first term because he said they were costing too much. And I can't stand the fact that, and I don't know where it ever landed, that they were going to change the paint scheme. that he made him change the paint scheme, and then I thought Biden had made him change it back. So I don't know. I think he wants it back to the other way because now I see he's got this big model of an Air Force One sitting on the table in the middle of the Oval Office, and it doesn't have the paint scheme that they have now. You know, it's got one that he wanted, which I think's ridiculous. Those planes have had that paint scheme since they were put into service. They're an icon of the United States of America. You know, there's no reason to change it.
Well, my question is, which Air Force One is it? Because when I was in Florida, and I was driving along the what do you call it? That road that goes down to the end of the Florida Keys. There's an airport there, and the president had arrived, but they couldn't land the big Air Force One there. But they have a smaller Air Force One. Am I right?
No, they don't have a smaller one. They have many planes that have that paint scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That look just like those, but are different model planes. You know,
Right, but what I'm saying is the Air Force One that he sometimes will take some places is a smaller plane than the actual Air Force One, the one you associate as being the big one.
it's possible, you know, that at times they will use a smaller.
Well, for instance, he had to land at this airport, and it was not a large enough airport to take the full Air Force One, so they took Air Force 1.5. I don't know what it's called.
Well, it's not called that all the time. It's just one of the planes that's in the fleet.
Yeah.
Well, the truth of the matter is that any plane the president is in is Air Force One.
Right. But the four that have been delivered since they switched to that, go by the tail numbers. 26,000 and 27,000 were the two that were delivered at the end of the Eisenhower, beginning of the Kennedy administration. When they retired those, the two they fly under now are the tail numbers are 28,000 and 29,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I assume that the next two will fly under 30 and 31,000.
Okay. But anyway, I mean, I often have heard that Air Force One is any plane the president happens to be in. Because the way the whole designation started, it used to be called something else, I think, during the Truman administration and a little bit later on. And then they decided they wanted a call sign that would definitely say it was the president. So that rather than call it, airplane 5760 or whatever, they decided to now name it Air Force One, and its call sign was Air Force One.
Yeah, that's what they fly under, no matter what aircraft they use.
Right. Yeah. Unless it's a helicopter, then it's what is it? What do they? No, the helicopter is called Navy something.
No, it's a Marine helicopter.
Marine One.
Yeah, Marine One.
Yeah. So I mean, but just the idea that he didn't like the plane we gave him, it just bothers me.
Well, he used to complain about the White House. He thought it wasn't ritzy enough for him.
Oh, it's an old musty place.
Yeah,
I guess.
And that's probably why the toilets were always plugging up when he was there.
Yeah.
Not a joke. I mean, I saw it in the news a couple of times when he was president.
I thought it was plugged up because he kept flushing those classified documents.
That might be.
Yeah. But anyway, so I mean, that story has predominated.
Could you imagine being the CIA that's got to go down the pipeline and pull those pieces out?
Yeah. Anyway, the point I'm making is that the question now is if he took this plane before he could fly in it for official business or to take it anywhere, there would have to be massive changes made in the plane. To begin with, they have to check every inch of it to make sure that the Qataris didn't put in any what do you call it, bugs. They've got to clear that all out, and then they have to do complete changes in the plane to get it up to speed for being the official plane of the President of the United States. And by the time they finish doing all of that, he won't be president anymore.
Be a
But he'll
nice
have this great plane to fly around in afterwards.
yes.
Boy, he really wants to save us money, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, it saved me a ton of money.
They gave me a $400 million plane. Well, and what are you going to give them back? You know what it was today? Kristi Noem was in a, what do you call it, a meeting with a hearing today. And she defended the president's use of the new plane, that it was okay for him to take it from Qatar. And do you know what Kristi Noem's last job was before she was whatever she is now? What is she? This head of the Department of Defense, or what is it? What is it? She's the what is she?
Secretary of Homeland Security.
Yeah, Homeland Security. Whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, she was a press person for Qatar.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay for Qatar to do it. That's fine, And by the way, in prior years, the president has referred to Qatar as a rogue nation, as a bunch of people who were supporting Iran, and they were horrible, and they were terrible, and now, they're great. They give me a
support
plan.
Hamas. They support Hamas.
They support Hamas. They
Yeah.
support Iran, But our president thinks they're just okie dokie. I don't get it.
I would change my position if they were giving me a 747 too.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, where would you park it?
Probably the closest airport would be San Jose, San Francisco, or Oakland.
Could you afford to park it?
No.
No,
No,
of course.
Having it flown, no.
The first thing I'd do if Qatar gave me that plane, I'd sell it.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Buy me a new administration. Oh.
Yeah, wait a minute. Oh, here's Kevin. Here's Kevin. Hold on a second. Let me let Kevin in. I didn't see him down there. Hello, Kevin. Sorry for the wait. Oh, he's turning his back on me. Oh, boy.
Is that an Amazon? He works for Amazon now?
I don't know.
That's an Amazon vest.
I know he got an Amazon vest. What's the what? Are you there, Kevin? Can you hear us?
No, he didn't have his earphones on.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Kevin, can you hear us? Kevin, testing one. Kevin, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah.
Why the Amazon vest? Are you working for Amazon now?
Yeah. Started doing the. I just got. I think I just. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could hear you before.
Okay. Yep. Hello.
Yeah. So you're working for Amazon now? Are you here?
He can hear us.
Can you hear us?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I'm at here. Okay. I got you. I'm trying to kill my browser. There we go.
Oh, okay.
New drugs.
I had the browser going in the background.
Okay, so are you working for Amazon now?
Yeah, I started a couple weeks, last month, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, trying to make some side money. DoorDash kicked me out, so I just figured I'd try that.
Wow.
So what do you do? Drag those boxes around or whatever?
Yep.
What do you
Envelopes, boxes, whatever.
No, but I mean, they deliver them. At least here, they deliver them by having these things they just drag. These big.
No, it's probably a regular driver. We're just flex drivers.
Oh, you're a driver.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. And do they have their own Amazon trucks now and everything?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they got their own trucks, but we use our cars. We're side contractors. It's like it's a side gig.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And you can choose a block of 3 or 4 hours and go out and make 3 or 4 hours worth of deliveries. They pound you with them, and
Do they pay well?
no,
No.
nobody pays well.
Not anymore.
Nobody. that's something that really bothers me.
It does.
Is that nobody wants to pay people for the job they do, and give them the respect of giving them a decent living.
Yeah, they set you up with you pick a 3 or 4 hour block that's available. And I took a 3.5 hour block today, and it took me almost 4.5, almost 5 hours to do it.
Where's the distribution center near you?
Right here in town.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They got 2 warehouses, one big one and one 50-mile warehouse.
I guess I didn't realize that your town has grown that big, that quick.
What's that?
I didn't realize without mentioning the name of where you live, I didn't realize that your town had grown. I thought it was like 5,000 people or something the last time I was there.
No, it's way bigger than that. And everybody's all pissed off because they're trying to make it stop growing, and they want all the money, but they don't want all the people.
Yeah.
How do you make it stop growing?
You get
Stop
idiots
selling
in the
houses.
frickin' councils and the supervisors, and
Hmm.
there's a whole movement down here to stop growth.
And what's the town
But yet
you're in
they all
again?
want Home Depot, and they all want everybody else. They want In-N-Out. They want Trader Joe's. They want all these people down here, but they won't let anybody down here. So it's like,
Okay, but you're it's Martinez, right? Where are you?
no, I'm down in Hollister.
Hollister.
Gilroy, yeah.
Hollister, yeah. Okay.
He's
Yep.
moving. He's moving to Oregon, we hear.
Between there and Monterey, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's nice that you have a job.
Yeah, I do it when I need to, when I want to. Side money, basically.
You do it
Just
for
like a
side.
DoorDash.
Yeah. Explain DoorDash to me. I've never used them.
Order the food, some guy picks it up, takes it to you, dumps it on your door, and drives away. That's pretty
If
much
it's
it.
pizza, they tip it over, and that's it.
So
Goodbye.
what's the difference between that and Uber Eats?
Same thing. Same
'Cause
thing as Grubhub.
we use Uber Eats. You know.
Yeah. I've heard DoorDash is cheaper, but I don't know.
How
I
is
don't
it?
use any of them. I've never used any of them.
Well, how is it cheaper? Are they charging less for the food?
I guess. Or delivery.
Yeah, I like Uber Eats gets the food here. You know.
Yep.
And there are a couple of
You
restaurants.
got all kinds of them up there. You got Uber Eats, you got Grubhub, you got Instacart, you got DoorDash, you got.
Well, I
let's see,
use
what are the other ones?
Instacart.
There's a bunch of other ones.
I use
too.
Instacart for my food deliveries.
Yeah.
You know, and
I was going to do that too, but it's taken me 2 years to get in, and they haven't called me yet.
yeah, Instacart is they're pretty damn good. I mean, when we've complained that something didn't get delivered or whatever, there's no argument. They immediately just give us our cash back.
Yeah.
You know, they've really matured. We were with them when they were nothing. I mean, they were just this dippy little organization that didn't know what they were doing. And they have grown into a really good organization.
Very competitive.
Huh?
But it's very competitive, but I won't go into too much detail, but I think the people that are running it and how they run it is bullshit.
Really? Why do you say that?
There's people like us. We talk, if we got a problem, we got to call somebody, and we call support. Support is somewhere over in India or Philippines, whatever time of the day it is, and they don't care. And they have the power to just turn you off. Just say, well, we don't like you, so they turn you off.
What do you mean you can't
That's
use?
pretty much what they did to me, and I still don't know why.
You can't use them ever again,
No, I can't work for them.
or can't work for them. Oh,
They
okay.
deactivated me back in November of last year, and I've been trying to find out why. And they just tell me, you got to make an appeal. So I make an appeal, and then they call them, 10 days later, and they say, oh, we didn't get your appeal. Put in another appeal. 6 times.
God.
And then one time they said they got the appeal, you don't have to put any more in, and they still didn't answer.
Well, how come they're so good with their customers, but they can't be good with the people that deliver it?
Good question.
No, I mean it's a really good question.
Mhm.
Because if they're not good to their people, then I'm going to start having problems with my deliveries. You know.
Yeah.
But for the
There's a whole subculture there. It's interesting. They got pages for these drivers that get on there and bitch about, oh, you got to pay $10 more. And then they come back and say, oh, we didn't get your appeal. Put in another appeal. 6 times. And then one time they said they got the appeal, you don't have to put any more in, and they still didn't answer. Well, how come they're so good with their customers, but they can't be good with the people that deliver it?
well,
how they had to drive 15 miles for a $6 delivery, and
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I'd bitch about that too.
yeah.
well, I've been
do
with, I've been
all
with
the time.
Instacart for quite a while now.
And then if you don't take it, they penalize you and then say you're not taking 100% of your orders.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You just got to put up with it or tell them screw off or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we get all our stuff delivered now. In fact, every year, Costco gives me a check for like almost $100 because I have a black card, and that's what they give you. I have 3 years worth of checks sitting here in my drawer. They don't run out. I can use them anytime, but they don't.
And only you can use them, or only you and Marjorie can use them.
Right. Well,
I thought they expired.
No, they don't expire. I looked, and it said, I don't. There's nothing on it that says expiration date.
I thought you had to use them by the
But
end
we haven't been back to Costco in so long that we can't we can't tell our delivery people to use them. They can't. So
They
we
won't
have
let you use it on the app when you order.
no.
Well, just deposit it and use it that way.
Yeah.
Just deposit in the bank.
No, but they're not.
use the
They're
money.
not. They're not checks. They're only available to be
That's
cashed
right.
at
Yeah,
Costco.
you have to go back to Costco. That's right.
Yeah. So I've got all these checks sitting here, and maybe
I would think you should be able to use those online.
Yes, I should be able to, but
Or if you go to Costco and order straight through Costco and they deliver, you probably can.
probably. I don't know, but
Yeah.
all I know is they're sitting over here in the
Just order a
drawer.
bunch of toilet paper and see if it happens.
Yeah, well, if you can get the toilet paper, They ran out of toilet paper a couple of weeks ago. How about that one, huh?
It's gonna keep happening till you
Coming from China.
Boy, when you can't get ass wiped, geez almighty, how the world has fallen apart.
Send everybody into panic.
And Bounty, have I told you about the quicker picker-upper?
No.
They, how we talk about shrinkflation and things like that, where all of a sudden you'll be getting Bounty and it'll have less of a role in it than it once had. But they just charge you the same amount, so you don't think that they're raising the prices on you. Okay? Well, here's the thing that Bounty has done. We love Bounty. I love Bounty. It's good for everything. Whatever you need to pick up or anything that's a mess, you can use Bounty. All right? And I especially love, since I have a sinus condition and allergies and so on, have loved it for blowing my nose on it.
Wow.
And you could take these things and blow your nose on it a lot, right? And it wouldn't really fill up. It would absorb, okay? And all of a sudden I noticed it wasn't absorbing like it used to, and that it was having troubles. That I couldn't get a good use out of it. And I suddenly realized they've changed the formulation of Bounty paper towels because it's cheaper to do it another way. And they go, well, maybe nobody will notice. Well, I notice, And I've got an old Bounty roll here that Marjorie found around the house, a couple of them. And then I compared it to the new ones, and by God, there's a difference. There's an absolute difference, which pisses me off. Huh?
I like them because they're good at getting nose hairs. If you got a hair, clean up your nose.
Good for nose hairs?
Yeah, you were saying blow your nose. Sometimes I have a nose hair that comes out when I blow my nose, and it was good for sorry.
Doesn't make much sense to me, but I use
That's
a clipper for the nose hairs.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. I get scissors. So somebody told me they make electric nose hair clippers.
No, I got a new hair clipper that's a nose clipper that's electric, and it doesn't work very well. None of them work well. No. no.
Okay, I'll save my money.
Yeah, yeah. Every time I think I'm buying a new, better one, because you read something about, oh, best nose clipper in the business. It's the same nose clipper I've been getting all along, you know. So, but anyway,
What brand is yours? Do you know?
I don't know. It's Nose-Its. I don't know. I have no.
No,
I just made up a name of a product.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
It'll be on the market next week.
yeah. But you know, I mean, I just, I know, I'm just getting very sensitive towards companies, for instance, that are firing people in their company like crazy. And I go, why should I do business with them? You know, they don't respect the people they work with. They figure they're going to help their bottom line by getting rid of people. No, they're not going to help their bottom line. So, I mean, I'm now very sensitive about that. For instance, I have some questions about whether I want to do any business with Meta anymore. I mean, I need them, but I don't know if I should be doing business with them because they don't know how to treat their people. They don't even know how to treat me. You know, why should I put up with that? Why should I put up with an asshole like the guy who owns Meta? What's his name?
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg,
Yeah, why should I? You know, when he acts the way he does. You know, I don't know what to do about it. And then I hear about companies that, for instance, like Disney. Oh, we just had to let off 10,000 people because we're trying to help the bottom line. And I go, why am I doing business with those people? They're firing people when it's people they shouldn't fire. It's the people who run the company they should fire.
Right.
You know, and think of the money you're going to save there. You know, but I mean, I just get mad when I see that. I don't like it, and it makes me. Oh, I guess I'm just too sensitive a human being. So how's everything down in Texas, Charlie?
Oh, it finally got hot.
Yeah, I know.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. Somebody was saying how hot it was, and that there's a big heat wave thing coming through that part of the country, and that you will not be. I think you've got about 4 days of this, and then it'll go down to 97.
Yeah, it's gonna cool off to 97. Yeah.
Cool off to 97.
Well, maybe by next week when it cools off, you can sit inside the house and play with your new laptop.
Fingers crossed.
Did you get a new Did you get a new laptop?
Somebody's giving me one.
I have a.
Somebody's giving you one?
Yeah, for $400 million. I get to keep it when I quit umpiring.
Good answer. Good answer. So no, I have a Windows 10 laptop that a Dell that I bought. Pretty powerful that I bought 4 years ago, but I don't like the screen. It's not clearly 1080p. And Dell looked at it one time and said, nothing wrong with the screen. Maybe I ought to get a new this, that, and the other video card. And I said, well, it's built into the motherboard. Oh, well, can't do anything about it. So I went and bought a Vio. About 6 months ago. It's got a 4K screen like I'm using on my home computer right now. So the one that they call 1080 is sitting on bright here because I'm doing Windows update. I have a real fast update, and it's doing Windows 11 updates right now. And once it's done, the box back here that I found, Charlie, is going to show up at your porch.
That big, huh? Okay.
Well, I couldn't find anything smaller, but that's okay.
Well, listen, I got a problem here. Over the weekend, I don't know what happened, but there were a lot of updates to Windows 10. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a Windows 10 machine here I just use for a lot of little stuff. But I have it hooked up to my network so I can access it. Okay? Well, all of a sudden, it's not coming up. So I then have to figure out what was the name I used on it and what's the password.
Uh-oh.
Now, would the password on that be the same as password for the computer itself?
don't know.
I mean, not the the password.
Don't you have a Microsoft password?
Yeah, but that's not the password.
Okay, I know. Yeah, but if you write to Microsoft, they'll reset your password for you. I've done that a couple times.
You don't understand. It's the way I sign in using my home network to get access to the machine.
Not that I'm giving up any details because nobody else is going to touch this laptop, but I set it up so it has a code, and you put a 4-digit code in, and it logs you on.
Well, I have a 4-digit number that I put in for my password to sign on to
Right.
it.
Yeah, right.
So would that be the same one I would use for? Okay,
Yeah,
now how do I find out what
Right.
the name on the account is, on the password, on the?
Just try your Microsoft account.
No, it
Yeah.
isn't my. No, but it is. You don't understand. It's not my Microsoft account.
I thought you were trying to get into your computer.
No, I'm trying. Not.
Oh.
I'm trying to get. Okay, I can get into my computer. All right.
Okay.
But when I also have it so that it's part of the network, okay? So I can access it from any other
Gotcha.
computer in the house. You got me? Okay. All of a sudden, it disappeared, and I couldn't remember what the password was or the name,
Username, yeah.
username. So how do I find the username? If the password is the same password I used to sign on to the computer, okay, let's just say that's true, then I understand that. I have that, okay, but I don't know what name I used on it.
We tried using the Microsoft name in case you did it the same way.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I just said, and he said no, that won't work.
And then it rejects.
How about reboot all the equipment?
What do you mean
Right.
reboot
That
all
won't
the
change
equipment?
That's what I tell my mother. She reboots her
No,
equipment.
don't you think I've rebooted it?
I'm not sure. I mean,
What am
I've
I,
never
a
heard of somebody
computer
doing that.
moron? What? Of course, when something doesn't work, I reboot it and see if it takes, but it doesn't. Now, the name I have on the computer itself is Bennett Schwarzman. Okay, so that would be the name, right?
Right. That's the name of the computer, but that's not your
I
password.
don't know. I'm going to have to try that name tomorrow with the password I sign on with and see if that works. I don't know. I have no
gotta
idea.
go, guys. I gotta pick up my girlfriend's grandson.
Oh,
so-
wait a minute. Is she suddenly ruining our program?
She's sick, so I have to go pick up her grandson for her. So this is a
Oh,
one
boy, are you pussy whipped already? Jeez almighty. Oh,
He mows the lawn for her too.
do you really? Do you?
I don't have to mow. She has a service.
Oh,
to mow.
God. We have to get together and have some mansplaining, you know?
No, she can pussy whip me any day. I gotta go, guys. I'll see you
Okay.
tomorrow.
Bye-bye to Charlie.
See
Bye-bye.
you, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. Yeah, this laptop I got is a Dell, and it's got a half a terabit solid state drive, and it's got 16 gig of RAM, and I just don't like the monitor part of it.
Hey, it's too bad. I have a 4 terabyte byte drive in mine, solid state.
Yeah, well, you're not giving it to Charlie. I'm giving this to Charlie. One, his laptop died last year, and two, his home computer, he wants to run Windows 11, but it's not powerful enough. I think this is Microsoft's way of saying you need to go out and buy new computers, but so they didn't develop Windows to run on some of the older processors. So anyhow, my laptop runs on it. I've downloaded Windows 11. I'm updating everything, and then I'm going to mail it to him for free.
Well, I also have my Windows, so it will sign on using my visual, my face. But that doesn't change my password, does it? No.
No.
Oh, it shouldn't. Well, the only reason
I just thought it'd be a nice guy since I didn't need the laptop, don't want to give it to some kid, and he was saying a couple weeks ago that his laptop died on his last trip. He'd love to have another laptop.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting on his show, Woody's at his girlfriend's, this show and Amy's show on his iPhone 14. So he would like another laptop, but he can't afford it.
Well, that's very nice of you. That's very
I said,
nice
I
of
have
you.
one that's 4
Of
years
course, you
old.
have no use for it anymore. You're kind of like the Cutter, country of Cutter, that is giving the president a 4-year-old plane.
Yes.
Did you hear about that one? It's 4 years old already.
I thought they were just ordering a brand new
I
one.
thought it was brand new too. It's 4 years
Oh,
old.
I didn't know that. Oh. Then he's got to sit on a used toilet. That's the first thing he'll do is change the toilet.
Yeah, but I mean, it's 4 years old, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
know, I wouldn't accept it.
This is a great deal for him. He doesn't have to go out and buy a laptop. So
It's a great deal for Trump. He doesn't have to go out and buy a new airplane.
yeah, well, this will probably work quicker than Trump's airplane.
Really?
If it gets to him, if I ship it and it gets to him next week, he says, "Well, I can't even afford the shipping cost." And I said, "If the shipping cost is under $50 through UPS, I'll ship it to you for free, and it'll be a gift." And he's like, "Really?" Yeah. He said, offline, he asked me what I paid for it, and I told him, it was $750. And he said, "You don't have to give me that." I said, "I don't want to sell it, Charlie. I want to give it to somebody."
But no, but I mean, Charlie, if you're still listening, although right now you're probably kissing your girlfriend's ass, if if Alan has a brand new computer, okay, and he doesn't know what he's going to do with this old one, he's not going to use it at all, and he wants to send it to you, fine. You're not taking money out of his mouth. How long did you use that computer?
It was a backup computer and a travel computer. I bought it right before COVID hit,
Mhm.
and I've never traveled with it, so it's never been out of the house. I
Yeah,
just update it every month. It's 4 years old.
Yeah, so I mean, Charlie shouldn't worry about that and shouldn't
He's
feel
not worried.
guilty about
He's
it.
like thrilled to have it.
Yeah, but I
Because
mean, but it
doesn't
sounds
have
like
the
he
money to
feels
buy another
guilty.
one.
He feels guilty about taking it.
Well, you shouldn't feel guilty. I send gifts to everybody, including you, and I know you don't feel guilty. So,
No.
it makes me feel good to give the gift. So, I don't want anything in return.
Yeah.
Although you probably said 400 times now that cane Alan sent me has done me a lot of good, and Marjorie's too. So
What
I'm
is it?
glad
What's what?
you brought
Oh,
up
the
on
cane.
show.
Yeah. Oh no, I use that cane all the time. I use it
Yep.
every time I go out.
So it's good for me to send things like that, little gifts here and there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes me feel good. People say, "Oh, I should send you something back," because I don't want
Well, I bought a fairly fancy cane with like a dragon head or wolf's head on it or something like that.
very uncomfortable to walk with.
Yeah, I hardly ever use it. Hardly ever
Okay.
use it. The one
Yep.
you sent me, I use all the time. It's very
Right.
comfortable.
Good.
It's standard Amazon issue. Okay.
It's Medline, which is a huge conglomerate, of
Yeah.
everything medical seems to be. So,
By the way, Josh, how's your health?
hey, you need to send you a cane?
No, I'm okay enough, I guess.
What do you mean you're okay enough? I mean, every time every time I go on the air with somebody here, we're talking about their health problems.
I got my fair share of joint issues. So
Really?
Really?
How old are you now?
I'm in my mid 40s.
Yeah, but you shouldn't really be having joint problems at that age.
Had them since I was a child. It's a
Really?
degenerative genetic deal.
Marjorie has a spine problem, and it was because when she was a young kid, somebody dropped her on her back, and it's been
Wow.
bothering her ever since,
Wow,
all of her life.
that's horrible.
My back's just started to bother me. And the doctor I went to, I read his report. He says I have scoliosis. So now I'm starting to watch all those ads on television for scoliosis, Hey, is your back bothering you?
No shortage of those.
Well, I mean, yeah. Do you pay attention to the ads? When something comes on and it says, is your back killing you? Do you suddenly watch it?
No, I
No.
usually mute it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh,
I'm with
okay.
Because I
Kevin.
can't handle the fucking song and dance for fucking drugs,
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
especially
Now-
that mon or that.
Today
the
I
one-
saw something that gave me great joy. I saw the Pope. And he was a tennis pro, came and gave him a tennis racket. And he was overjoyed because he plays tennis.
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering, does he play it wearing the robes, or can he like wear short shorts to play tennis? Anybody know anything about that? Anybody here a Catholic? No.
Yeah, they can do it. They want. They could probably wear white ones.
Well, no, he joked and he said, "Well, with my outfit, I can play in Wimbledon, you know, because you can only wear white in Wimbledon." So, or is it Paris or Wimbledon where you have to wear white? I think it's,
I don't know.
I think it's Wimbledon.
I don't know.
But
Should have
anyway.
asked Charlie. Charlie was Catholic.
And Marjorie's thrilled because Marjorie loves tennis. So here she's got a pope that finally plays tennis. You know.
Too bad she's Jewish.
Yeah, too bad she's Jewish, but I'm sure he'd play tennis with her anyway, you know. But he plays tennis, so.
So she still plays tennis? Or
Not really, no.
okay.
She's lucky if she can get out the door now,
I know that feeling.
you know. Yeah. So, you know, but she, you know, when she was younger, she played a lot of tennis, and she was, when I first met her, she was like she just exercised all the time. She ran, she played tennis, she did this, she had this class, she had spin class, whatever. Okay? And as I've lived with her, she's become less and less active. And it's just
I'll bet
because
you
she's
have too.
Oh, listen, me, I can barely walk down the street these days, you know. I go with her, and we go around the block, and we're fine. We're good for the day, you know.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the car service, I wouldn't, you know, I'd be in real trouble.
The day that I get out of bed and I don't have any aches and pains in the first 5 minutes, I know I'll probably die that day.
Well, every morning when Marjorie wakes up, I says, "How are you today?" And she says, "Every bone in my body aches. My back is killing me." And I'm going, "So what else is new besides the back? How are you doing?" You know. And
Good, I'm hungry. Go get me some bagels and lox down the street. That's what she ought to say.
Well, you have those problems every day, right, Kevin?
So,
Back problems,
no.
leg problems.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me, I just had the wrong part of the body there.
Yeah, I got a ice pick going in the bottom of my foot right now.
Is that what they put in there?
No, that's my nerves going haywire today.
Oh, really? Does it change from day to day, though?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
They give you something like gabapentin for it that doesn't
Yeah, I
work.
just took a couple of damn things and they ain't doing shit.
Yeah, they don't work for anybody that I know. That it's a
Now,
drug that's
why don't you have them prescribe pregabalin to you, which is Lyrica?
Oh, I can't take that.
Why can't you take it?
I took that when I first got off of my injury, and it gave me headaches like no tomorrow.
Really? I take about 150 pregabalins, and I take them every night before I go to bed, and it takes.
That was
care
right
of
after it came out too, because I used to call it Lyrica.
me.
Lyrica.
Lyrica.
I got me some Lyrica.
Lyrica. Oh boy.
cute.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. So anyway, anything you want to talk about tonight at all? I'm just a mess. Josh,
Josh, talk to us.
anything you want to bring up that's been bothering you, or?
Habeas corpus.
Oh, habeas corpus.
Wow.
Talked about that.
We talked about that the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, we did. You know, I'm not really sure why that's not been a larger issue in the media. I think the administration is happy that it's not, which is why they continue to talk about things that are ridiculous or
Throwing
whatever.
the fucking planes out there and everything
Yeah.
else,
Right.
Well,
So that
the
those
thing
things
was
don't
that
come to light,
the
really.
people, also the person that made the comment wasn't the president. It was what's his name?
Yeah. His little
What's he?
Steve
stash
Miller.
friend.
Miller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
And now
it's
Pam Bondi says, "Oh, it's good. It's good. Good to go."
right. Yeah. Well, it's not. I mean,
Worthless.
it's placed in Article 1 for a reason, and it clearly states only Congress has the power to suspend it.
For good reason.
So yeah, I don't understand that whole situation at all. Period. I did see today when I was scrolling through the C-SPAN website that tomorrow at 10, I think, is the oral argument before the Supreme Court on the birthright citizenship.
Right. Right.
I don't really know if it's the whole case or if it was just about the stay that was issued by the judges. Maybe I'm not sure how it's being argued. I didn't look into it that much because I was working on something and I just happened to be scrolling through there for a minute. I was going to look in the morning and maybe I'll listen to that tomorrow or something. They normally, I don't know if they live stream them now or they
Well,
were doing that for a while, but I don't know if they're back to putting them out right after or not. I'm not sure.
since it's in the Constitution, what's to rule on?
Well, honestly, there really shouldn't be a lot as far as that goes. And like I said, I don't know if there's just an argument tomorrow about whether or not the stays that were put in place by the judges. I think one of the things the administration was arguing is that those judges don't have the power to issue the stays. And I would just love it if they get hammered on that tomorrow and there's some kind of like 9-0 deal that comes out, and says, no, the judges have power to issue stays and we just settle this once and for all for forever. That would be great, but it never works out that way. There always has to be a couple assholes that, you know,
Yeah.
act like a fucking crackhead, can't understand, what's plain and simple and clear. So
Is this an emergency ruling that they're asking for that they have to give a quick answer to, or?
I don't know if it was really going to be like that or not. I'm really going to have to look into that tomorrow. I should have done it today, so I don't really know the answer to that, to be honest with you. I don't know if this was expedited. I can't remember. I mean, I kind of had forgotten about it. Like I said, I was just scrolling through the website today and they had their little upcoming column and I caught it, and at the top of it, of their upcoming, and it was tomorrow at 10 was the oral arguments for that. So I'm not sure what's going to come of that.
Yeah, yeah. Because I just don't understand how, if it's in the Constitution, they would even want to hear it. I mean,
These are the things that need to happen. The courts need to shut that down. This habeas corpus deal, if they try some kind of garbage with that, and Congress didn't vote that, they need to shut that down immediately. I mean, they need to start slamming the door on this stuff once and for all.
Yeah. So I mean, that would be. So what you're saying is the reason they're hearing it is to just get it out of the way once and for all. Is that it?
Well, I hope so.
Or are they seriously thinking that there's a case here to be argued?
I don't think there's much of one personally, but I mean,
can't they just refuse it?
Oh, they could, yeah. They don't have to hear it, yeah.
Anyway, hey, listen, there's the theme playing, and it's very good that it's playing because I'm ready to go to sleep, I guess. How about the rest of you? Well, out in California, you guys you're not ready to go to bed yet, are you?
No.
Ain't gonna be long.
Ain't gonna be long. Anyway, thank you so much to Josh for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Thanks to Charlie, who's very pussy whipped and had to leave early. Alan, nice of you to join us. We really appreciate it. I didn't know we were falling apart, but nice of you to join us. See, it's a little joke I do there. And Kevin, thank you so much for being here tonight. Everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight. I'm trying to figure out if I want to do a show tomorrow night because, it's just gotten lately that most of the time there aren't a lot of people calling, and I wonder whether, especially on Thursdays. So I don't know if I should do a show on Thursday. But anyway, we'll worry about that tomorrow. We'll look on the Facebook page to see if I say I'm not doing a show. Anyway, I'll see you again tomorrow. Same time, same station in life. The intersection is next with Amy Manuel. And if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.